the greatest catastrophe in human history, a flood so immense it nearly erased humanity and forced civilization to begin again. Ancient texts from every corner of the world tell the same story. The Bible, the Torah, and the Qur'an describe Noah's flood, where humanity was punished and only a single family and pairs of animals survived. Long before these religions, the Mesopotamians wrote of Utnapishtim in the Epic of Gilgamesh, a man chosen by the gods to survive a world-destroying deluge. In Hindu traditions, Manu is warned by the god Vishnu, builds a boat, and saves life from drowning. In Greek mythology, Deucalion and Pyrrha escape Zeus's flood and repopulate the earth. Among the Maya, Aztec, and Inca, there are strikingly similar stories of water sent by divine forces to cleanse the world. Even Native American tribes speak of a time when the waters rose and only those who sought shelter in caves or rafts endured. Cultures separated by oceans, without any contact, preserved almost identical tales. Could this really be coincidence? Or are these the fragmented memories of a real disaster? For centuries, scholars dismissed these stories as myth, allegory, or moral lesson, but modern science has uncovered evidence that forces us to reconsider. Archaeologists excavating Mesopotamian cities such as Urs discovered thick layers of clay and silt that suggest a sudden and catastrophic flood. In the 1990s, geologists William Ryan and Walter Pittman proposed what is now known as the Black Sea Deluge theory. According to their research, around 7,500 years ago, the rising waters of the Mediterranean broke through the Bosporus Strait, flooding into what had been a freshwater lake. The Black Sea's level rose hundreds of feet in a matter of months, swallowing entire communities. For those who survived, it would have felt like the end of the world. Other geological records reveal the Missoula floods in North America, where melting ice dams released walls of water that reshaped the land. Sediment layers, giant ripple marks, and marine fossils found far inland all point to ancient megafloods. Science may not confirm a single global flood, but it proves humanity has endured sudden, devastating deluges. And yet the mystery does not end with science. Conspiracy theories claim that powerful institutions are deliberately hiding the truth of the Great Flood. In 1959, aerial photographs of Mount Ararat in Turkey revealed a large boat-shaped formation buried in the earth. Some researchers insist it matches the biblical dimensions of Noah's Ark. Expeditions reported petrified wood and man-made structures, but governments and mainstream scientists dismissed the findings, calling them natural rock formations. Why would evidence be denied so quickly? Others suggest NASA and world powers possess data from ice cores and geological studies that prove a global flood occurred, but they keep it secret to avoid social and religious upheaval. Even more unsettling are claims that the flood is not just a relic of the past, but a warning of the future. Rising sea levels, melting glaciers, and cosmic cycles could trigger another deluge, and according to some, global elites already know this. Secret bunkers, underground facilities, and seed vaults are allegedly part of preparations for a coming catastrophe. Alternative theories push the mystery further. Some scientists propose that a comet or asteroid impact during the Younger Dryas period, about 12,000 years ago, melted glaciers and unleashed floods across continents. Others connect the flood story to Plato's tale of Atlantis, a great civilization swallowed by the sea. Fringe researchers argue that the Great Flood was not natural at all, but an intentional reset, engineered by gods, extraterrestrials, or an advanced human society to wipe the slate clean. These ideas may sound outlandish, but they persist because the flood narrative is one of the most deeply rooted stories in human consciousness. Even if the flood was not literally global, its significance is undeniable. For ancient people who lived close to rivers and seas, the terror of rising waters was real and constant. A massive regional disaster would have been passed down orally, generation after generation, gradually transformed into myth. Yet the near-universal presence of the flood story suggests something more than isolated memory. It may reflect a shared trauma in humanity's distant past, an event so destructive that it became encoded in the collective imagination of civilizations. The Great Flood matters because it is more than a story. It is a reminder of nature's overwhelming power, of the fragility of human life, and of the possibility that our world can change in an instant. It is a tale that warns against arrogance, pride, and corruption, while also offering hope of renewal and survival. Whether it was a literal global flood, a series of regional disasters, or a myth born of fear and memory, it shaped religions, cultures, and the very way humans understand their place in the universe. So was the Great Flood a historical reality that drowned civilizations? Was it simply a myth repeated across cultures to explain natural disasters? Or was it something else entirely? An event whose true details are still hidden, guarded, or perhaps even preparing to repeat? The evidence is scattered, the myths are universal, and the conspiracies are chilling. The story of the flood is not just about the past, it may also be a warning about the future. The final answer is not in ancient texts or buried ruins, but in what we choose to believe. Do you think the Great Flood was real? Or is it simply one of humanity's most powerful and enduring legends?